Only 5,890 pounds, open range, 2606 Ultralite landing here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. And this is one slick duck. We are fully travel accessible. We are 100% completely carpetless with ventless flooring, pet friendly, whisper ducted AC, and a partridge in a pear tree. Open range took a somewhat familiar floor plan and they open range the crap out of it. First, a quick look with the slide closed. One of the neat things about this model is the way they set up the rear seating. You never have to like turn and wrestle with recliners, as is the case in a more conventional rear living room, historically speaking. We're going to come back and talk more about the carpetless stuff when this is all open up. What I wanted to take a look at is the travel accessibility of this floor plan. Over here within the slide, you can see it, this is where you have a pantry and a fridge, and you might not get the refrigerator door 100% open, but I think you can still open it enough that it qualifies for travel-friendly function. Our overhead cabinetry, obviously easy to get to. They located the drawers intelligently. I've seen some manufacturers put drawers over here, and the problem with that is that with the slide closed, you can't really get in or out of the drawers, so that's not an issue here. And all the storage, you know, like above or behind the TV, that can all be accessed. But this layout does block us off from the bedroom, or at least it would. And that's where this handy dandy bedroom door comes into play. Now, if you are stopped somewhere, you, yes, do have to go, you know, outside through the two doors to get back to the living area. But the fact is, if you are going to make a travel stop, you're typically going to be either in the kitchen so that you can, you know, make yourself a quick bite to eat, or you're going to be in the bedroom to lay down. So having to transverse, pardon me, from one to the other, I don't think too much of a big deal. Now, obviously, just like we saw the other direction, you can't get through to the living area. But full bathroom access, full bedroom access, access to pretty much all the storage. I think this one qualifies as turtle-friendly, personally. And I've always been of the belief that every brand has that one thing. They all have that one thing that makes them kind of stand out. The thing is, Open Range has like 5 of those one things. And you're going to see that as we go. They do a couple things here that are either class exclusive or industry exclusive, which all are good things. So right up top here, like you've seen plenty of RVs that have vaulted ceilings. You've seen plenty of RVs that have good dual ducted air systems and double lighting runs, both of which cost a little bit more money. But what you don't see anywhere else in the lightweight market is a whisper ducted, quieter running air system, and it is significantly quieter. You don't have to crank the TV up when the air kicks on. You don't have to start shouting at the person next to you. Now back here, this thing has a great couples layout. And this really stands in contrast to a lot of the models that have like 2 conventional rear rocking chairs or recliners, and then like a sofa and a dinette and a slide. I've never understood why you really need 2 chairs and a sofa and a dinette for a couple's camper. And I know that there are some folks who really like to entertain guests and whatnot, but I think this one can still do that. But it cuts out an extra set of superfluous seats and gives you a lot more storage and, frankly, less weight, less cost, less length as a result. Now, let's get zeroed in on the fine details here. Like, you will notice all of the windows open for airflow, including that slide side window. That does open for air. The sun is just barreling into this thing this morning, and I wanted to make sure you could get a good look at it, so I had to close that down. You will find, you know, the extra air vent above. All the extra important day-to-day functions, they are all here. We have, you know, the nicer, longer-lasting pocket-screwed cabinetry, which all ties into the 3-year structural warranty that go into the Open Range RVs. Now back here, on Boardwalk and Park Place, we have got a plush, comfy, heat massage theater seat with LED lighting under the base. So this is, I call it the, you know, the thrones. You got the King's Crone and the Queen's Throne right here. So if you need to come in, you need to kick up your feet and relax in your nicer air-conditioned RV here and not have the air cranking up super loud so you can't hear anything, this one will take care of you. Now, throughout the entire RV, whether it's the kitchen counter, the bathroom, the table, or even these little side stands, we have nicer sealed-edge thermofoil counters, a pressed membrane on those, so that if you set a drink there and it sweats and it gets on that countertop, you can clean it up, wipe it up, but it's not going to bubble it up. It's not going to absorb and swell anything. There are power outlets right on the ends of those right there, so that if you do want to plug in things like phone chargers or, you know, a tablet power source, you absolutely can. As we spin around here, this has a full-size U dinette, which can convert down into an additional sleeping space if need be, which makes this like a great couples camper with just enough guest sleeping capacity. I think is really great. Now you might notice how there's a single leg under that dinette, not a double. That is completely by intention. They also use a higher grade marine style dinette base on that, so that 1, it's less of a toe kick, 2, it's more stable, and 3, there's no real knee knocking going on around here. If you need to get to that back bench, you got to sit on the sides and do the butt scoot boogie to work your way around that thing. You can do that in this open range. And once again, big max size windows providing just intense amount of lights all over the place. But this right here is just, it's kind of a stroke of genius feature. A big kitchen pantry and an 8 cubic foot fridge freezer, all located within the slide out. So it takes 2 very large, very bulky, boxy fixtures, and it gets them hanging out over thin air in the slide so that the RV looks and feels nice and large. And what is also helping it look and feel nice and large is not just a class exclusive, but an industry exclusive thing. Open Range's Carpetless, I cannot talk today, holy cow, Carpetless floor flush slide system. This thing obviously has no carpet anywhere in the floor. There are no heat vents in the floor. This is exceptionally pet friendly, which is something we're going to talk about in just a second as we dive into the kitchen. But what's nice is how they gave you those doors to get under that dinette for storage purposes. But first, a quick look at that bonus sleeping. So again, if you need to, that could sleep an adult for the evening. I think that's a good 1 adult sleeper. You could put a couple kids on there, but don't forget that you got these 2 individual theater recliner seats over here. So if you do want to put one of the kiddos down for an afternoon or something like that, you can absolutely do that here. And frankly, grandkids, they don't mind sleeping on something like this. They think it's pretty cool to get to sleep grandpa and grandma's chair, things like that, or if you got littles yourself, you know. It doesn't necessarily have to just be kids. I also know some people that have like back or neck, you know, disc or vertebrate fusions who need to sleep on something like that, whereas, you know, sleeping on a more traditional dinette or bed scenario is just not comfortable for them anymore. And now a look at all the storage. So obviously we have doors to get to those dinette bench ends very easily. And again, no carpet in there whatsoever, even under the dinette benches. Now, this is a better angle to get a look at the pantry due to the way that the doors open. And floor to ceiling within the slide. Really, I mean, it rivals the total storage cubic capacity of this 8 cubic foot fridge freezer over here. You can see that they are the same height. Neat little thing. There's a little power outlet down there under that refrigerator. I don't know what you'd use it for, but I love the fact that they just didn't waste an opportunity to do something in this. And then, as we spin around here into the kitchen prime, there's so much going on in such a small space. This is a textbook example of 10 pounds of sugar in a 5-pound sack. We're going to start with the fact that every open range ultralight has a full drawer under the oven, not just a drop-down knuckle buster or frankly just a wasted panel. You know, they put a full drawer down here. In addition, you can see that we have a pair of full extension plywood drawers right beside that. But that's not all. Below the oven drawer is another drawer, which comes with the handy little pet dish over here, so she is Fido friendly. That, in conjunction with the carpetless, ventless flooring, makes this one of the most pet-friendly RVs available out there. Now, you have an open area under the sink I would say is good for a wastebasket, but when you flip that countertop extension up, you have this nice little empty overhang right there that is just begging you for a nice size wastebasket. So I think you can use the space under the sink for like bigger pots and pans. We already talked about how all of the countertops have a sealed edge pressed membrane. You can see how we have an easy reach power outlet over there in the corner. Perfect for like Keurig machines, coffee makers, whatever. And as we start to go through this, you will notice you've got these fitted flush mount sink covers, which are made from the same material as the countertop, but they're hiding a nice stainless double sink here. But what's really neat, when you get into the bathroom, you will find that they didn't drop down to a plastic sink. They stay with stainless all the way through. So with those covers in place, we've actually got decent prep space right here Plus the stove having a flush mount top gives you really more functional prep space over there. The cabinetry, hardwood door frames, we already talked about the pocket screws there. A little extra pocket above the microwave because why waste it? But then we come over here and we are greeted with what I like to call the RV Nerd Pantrytainment Center. Because really, the TV acts as a big door to a chunk of storage behind it. And if you're sitting on those rear cinema seats and you want the TV to swing out to you, you can. It doesn't have to be sitting on that kind of pseudo angle. You can spin that thing around any way you want. Now, it's also kind of cool. When the TV swings out like this, you can see how it makes it easy to get to things like the extra HDMI input, so that if you do want to put a satellite and or Blu-ray system in, if you want to use this pocket back here for things like that, you have the perfect place to be able to do all of that. And below that, of course, we have our Bluetooth DVD system, as well as our electric space heating fireplace. Now, you don't have to use that for heat. You can just use it for LED visual elements, and it is remote controlled, so you don't have to get up and down to mess with the panel. And I also realize you haven't just seen the kitchen all closed up, and you probably just like a good look at it, sort of, you know, not all blown open with the cabinets hanging everywhere. Moving through our carpetless couples camper here, the 3 C's, which could also stand for cargo carrying capacity, obviously. In the hallway, we get in here and we've got ourselves an excellent bathroom. This is an excellent bathroom area. Again, no vents in the floor, porcelain stool, excellent legroom for that toilet. Plenty of room to get out of that nice standing shower, not a travel trailer tub. And the nicer glass, you know, tri-panel enclosed door. It just gives it a little bit nicer look and feel, you know? Also, you'll see a little bit upgraded shower hardware in here. Something a little bit more reminiscent of what you might commonly find in a fifth wheel. Now, I like the fact that we have a mirrored double vanity. Again, sealed edge, pressed membrane countertop with a stainless sink. And good counter space in here, so you actually have a spot to like set down a blow dryer or a shaver or a toothbrush or whatever if need be. And we have some pretty respectable storage down below in this bathroom as well. First thing I zoomed in on was the fact that we actually have a spot for a nice little wastebasket in the bathroom. That is something I know that I use daily at my household, and it surprises me that more RV bathrooms don't accommodate that. Now, I think I mentioned very briefly, but I want to take a look at these plywood box drawers. And the fact that they are thicker, the boxing around it is a lot thicker, and they bevel the edges up top here, so that is not going to be like a splinter factory. Moving on from here, our bedroom. At a glance, it's pretty common and non-distinct, but that's sort of the trend with an open range. At a glance, you know, it's easy to miss what separates them. It's 100 little fine details that go into these. So first of all, this is a 60 by 80 residential queen bed. Secondly, this is where they start to define themselves. Both sides of the bed have their own little stand with headboard mounted outlets, which makes that supremely CPAP friendly. Each side of the bed has its own full extension drawer, which is the same thickness, the same build and grade as everything else that we've seen. They never scale anything down on these. Now we've got our, you know, normal dual hanging closets. Those are, you know, pretty normal base functional items. But as we swing around here, this is a really big key clutch detail in this bedroom area. This is very similar, nearly identical to what you find in a 275 RLS open range, and that is this huge extra hanging closet or dresser space or whatever you want it to be that does happen to be prepped and ready for a combo washer dryer. Now what's genius about this, guys, is that this gives us the space and the storage of a bedroom closet slide out without adding the length, weight, and cost of said bedroom slide. And just like the interior, if all you're doing is standing back here looking at this one, it looks like you've seen it before. There doesn't appear to be anything that's too much of a standout quality. Like, I can start rattling off, oh, it's got a power awning and power tongue jack, and you're like, so what? Everything has something like that. And you're right, everything does. See, and that's kind of the cool part about this one here. It's not just hoping that you're looking for a different visual aesthetic on the same old thing. They're doing some different things here, but you got to look a little bit closer. You got to look at the fine details, and that's what really separates open range from a lot of things. Like right up front here, they're not using plastic molded screw trim. They're not using that cheap plastic screw caps that most brands do. Now, that stuff works fine. I say the word cheap because it's inexpensive. It's an okay thing. It's one of those things that over time you need to replace. And what I'm talking about, in case you're not aware of what I'm discussing, is like up here on the nose of this RV, you see this stuff, this bulb right here? That's just plastic screw trim. That's what's covering the screws that are holding the front onto the sidewall. Well, Open Range uses a formed aluminum extrusion right here. So there is nothing that can weather over time. There's less, shrinking, less expansion. There's more solidarity. There's a better fit and finish on that as a result. Neat little thing too, they just have easy access to their little nose cap LED light beam, and it's not terribly impressive during the day, but at night it will help you see your campsite a little better. And note that they are putting the little bit bigger, 50% larger actually, 30-pound propane tanks on here as opposed to conventional 20s. Now it's kind of funny because if you're just looking at it right here, at a glance, this is about the same shape and size as a 2804 rear kitchen Open Range that we also have here at Haylett RV. But you might notice that the refrigerator's in the slide, just like we saw earlier. Now, another thing that you can't see the difference on is the insulation package on the Open Range Ultralites that are standard here. Most laminated trailers, very, very few of them, do not have an enclosed belly, most of which are enclosed and heated, but usually that's where it stops. In the lightweight trailer market, manufacturers don't tend to add extra insulation because that means extra weight and extra cost that a customer can't see, and most manufacturers assume that if a customer can't see it, then it's not worth doing. But as is the case with 100 little things Open Range has done, they've gone the next step further. They have an enclosed underbelly. It is heated. It is also forced air, well, it's forced air heated, pardon me, but it's also insulated with both conventional insulation and a radiant barrier package. So this thing can achieve 0-degree functionality. They give us a time delimiter of 5 hours on that. And a lot of people think, yeah, but 5 hours, that's not terribly long. That won't even get me through the night. What this means, guys, is that this is a superior extended season RV. Remember that freezing starts at 32, but this thing is rated for 5 hours all the way down to 0. So you've got a whole buffer range here where you're fine. So if it's going to dip below freezing, then come back up during the day, or even hit 0 for a little bit, but come back up overnight, you'll be okay in an Open Range Ultralight. Most lightweight trailers cannot say the same. Simple little water and cable docking station here next to your power dock station. Your sewer outlets are up front in front of the slide because that's where the bathroom is located, but most of our hookups are in one centralized spot, so it is very intelligent how they laid this all out. Naturally, we're backup camera ready. It seems like that's kind of a dime a dozen feature nowadays, but it is kind of a handy thing. We have found that we can add the backup cameras for this exact same price as the manufacturers, so we just don't tend to put them on from the factory. But if you want one, we'll get one put on, and it wouldn't cost you an extra cent more than it would have anyway. Another neat little detail on here, guys, is down here on this bumper, there is a gas grill quick connect, so if you do want to do some cooking outside and get the heat out of the RV, she is ready to do that should you choose to bring a grill with you. But check out the awning on this bad boy. Now, I mean, what is it? It's like 20, 21 feet, something like that. It's a huge awning. It clears both entry doors, so it's even like drizzly day friendly. If you want to come outside, hang out on the picnic table, even utilize your little outdoor TV setup on a rainy day, you can do all of that here. Couple neat things on their awnings. Well, obviously it's huge. You can see the LED lighting below it. And a lot of manufacturers have moved away from the easy tilt, 2-finger tilt awning like you saw right there. Literally just 2 fingers will drop that awning arm, and then when you're done, push it right back up into place. You know, you don't have to be an engineer. You don't have to read an instruction manual. You just grab it and go. Simple and easy. Both front and rear doors, notice, have the triple aluminum plank anti-slip entry step, and those are a little bit easier to see at night as well. The suspension here, this is an easy thing to miss. Like, you're like, oh neat, aluminum wheels. But one of the things that our RV delivery drivers tend to, remark on our Open Ranges is these things handle really nice, and that right there is a big reason why. Stuff like this, upgraded suspension joints, those are pretty common in fifth wheels. They have become increasingly uncommon in travel trailers, probably because they cost a few extra bucks, and sadly, it's something that just not enough consumers know to even look for or appreciate. They just don't have a point of reference, you know. Now up front here, you can see how we have our simple side mount solar prep panel. So if you do, you know, get a little bit of off-grid camping in place, you're good to go there. Our piano hinges are all sealed. It keeps the weather out of them. So if you live in an area that freezes and thaws, it'll keep the water from getting in there and springing everything. And simple one-hand latches makes accessing this large, wide, tall front pass-through storage simple and easy. And notice how that is separated inside to outside storage. So 100 little different things go into these, and a couple more yet on the roof to look at. First of all, I just like that awning fade. Even though rarely is anyone ever going to be up here to look at it, I don't know, I think it looks cool. It completes the look too. So, you know, you feel like if you've seen one RV roof, you've kind of seen all of them. And even here on the roof, there's a couple different things going on with open range RVs. So most, and I mean almost everybody outside of maybe Jayco has OSB roof decking, which is fine. Jayco puts plywood roofing up there. They have these thicker roof trusses. They call it a Magnum truss roof. A lot of people don't realize, and maybe I've done a poor job explaining this, Open Range's roof construction is exactly the same. They have the same plywood roof decking. They have the same thicker vaulted trusses. The one thing that they're doing different up here, though, is a PVC-based roof membrane as opposed to TPO or rubber or alpha ply or Dicor or whatever name for the exact same thing somebody feels like applying on that given day. It is a different kind of material. The material itself has a 15-year warranty. Note, I didn't say that this is some kind of, you know, 15-year RV roof warranty. I said the skin itself. If some guy ever wants to tell you that an RV has a 10, 12, or 15-year roof warranty and they don't explain the details of what that means, you need to run, not walk. Get away from that guy. Now, you might notice right now, there's actually a couple footprints up here from where our quality control specialist was looking around. That's because they even use a different type of adhesive under that roof skin. It takes a little bit longer to cure. It's sort of like self-leveling, so that will actually all work itself out before you take it home. Kind of a neat little thing. This RV is literally fresh off the production line, so you can still see a little bit of that down there. Also, you can note how they're really heavy-handed with their sealants up here. They really do a good job. You could argue oversealing, but I don't think there is such a thing as like oversealing. But back to the PVC thing. Why am I all jazzed up about this? Well, the material itself requires no maintenance. Now, you still have seals that you need to maintain. Again, I'm not a snake oil salesman, but it's also got higher UV reflectivity, meaning it will help keep the sun out of your RV, keep your RV cooler. It also does not tend to promote the growth of black algae, which is where most of your black streaks come from. So that pretty white skin will stay a pretty white. And the fact that the roof and the skin and the nose and everything are predominantly white with just a couple little accent colors here and there will help in really, really hot climates this thing stay more comfortable. So the bigger air conditioner standard, the lighter color skin, the different roof material, the better thermal package that goes onto the open range RVs standard. This is an amazing hot climate camper. So even up here on the roof, they're doing some good things. And that's kind of the tricky thing, is that every one of these 500 plus RVs that you're looking at in our sea of inventory right now, they all do something better than someone else. And that's why I put these videos together, ladies and gentlemen, to help you decide which one fits your wants, needs, and preferences better than another. So, whether it's hitching pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything between, we do it all at Haylett RV. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.